G'day viewers, welcome to this week's PB's Retro Restorations. This week I'm doing this Matchbox Superfast number 30 Beach Buggy, which came out in the 70s sometime. This was donated to the channel by John. Thanks very much, John, appreciate your donation. Now this one, it looks like it's been pulled apart. It's had the paint stripped off it, and then it's had a gold Nico pen paint job, and you can see when it comes around again that it's been put back together with the large Phillips head screw, which kind of looks a bit cheap. Now it's supposed to look like this, like a bright pink with the speckly yellow, so I'm going to try and reproduce that. It had all sorts of kinds of problems with the paint, but that's okay. See if we can't get it back to looking kind of what it looked like. So let's get started. So one advantage of it being put together with a screw is it was easy to pull apart. And what struck me when I pulled it apart was how good a condition the wheels were in, the base was in, the interior is fine. It's been pulled apart to have this awful paint put on it. And the rear windscreen looked like it had a little bit of damage from Terps or something to strip the paint. And I get the impression that there was probably nothing wrong with this model, it's just someone decided they wanted it gold, which is a shame. But that's okay, we're all entitled to modify castings to what we think looks good, each to their own. So the windscreen didn't want to come out even after I drilled it. And it wasn't the gold paint that was sticking it in there, it was what turned out to look like paint stripper that had fused the rear window in, and of course I fully expected to destroy it getting it out, but I didn't. So I'll be able to clean it up and that should be okay. So ye old trusty brake fluid for the windscreen to get some of the gold paint that was on it off and strip what was left of the chrome off the engine, so I'll re-chrome that. Now I thought for sure this post would have been flogged out and been too big to put my standard 2mm cap screw in, but after cleaning up the head I found that it was actually okay and I was able to tap it to suit my screw and everything was good, so hooray, that was a win. So here's our parts. Well, the wheels and base and interior didn't really need anything. I cleaned the interior, but that was about it, and I re-chromed the wheels. Here I am, getting what I could of the gold paint off the glass, and then I'll get the toothbrush and I will scrub that chrome off the engine. So, black base, chrome molotow on the top, and you'd never know it had ever been awful. Looks good. Happy. Now the paint on the body. I did this so many times. This is the first attempt, which was printer ink mixed into some clear base coat. And it didn't seem to matter how much or how little I sprayed it, I could not get an even colour. So then I went to a clear purple, and it started out okay. I thought, well, that's not really the colour, but it's working alright. But as I got further into it, it got real dark and it went all white and it was rat, so I stripped it again. So then I used a rattle pack of some purple I'd lying around, and it didn't really work either. It looked awful. So for the third time I stripped it again, and then I bought some of this Australian made special airbrush paint, pre-mixed, pretty fluid. It's you chew through it fairly quickly, but the finish I got out of it after a couple of coats was just beautiful, and I realised it doesn't look anything like the pink it's supposed to, but it came out so nice and had this pearl finish to it. I thought, Margaret, I guess we're doing a modern reinterpretation of the paint scheme, and I just went with that. No, I liked how it came out, really. Factory authentic? No. Looking good? Well, that's a matter of opinion. Now to reproduce the speckle paint, I dipped a toothbrush in some yellow acrylic, and then I just flicked it. The danger here, of course, is going too far and putting too much on, or not putting enough and not getting it all over it. But I kind of liked it in the end. I thought holding it here like this I wasn't real impressed, but once I got it back together it kind of worked a bit better. Anyway, you live and learn. If you don't try new things, well, you won't learn anything, will you? Here's all our parts ready to go back together. Okay, so I'm always talking about being swept away to a world of PB magic, and this is an example of it. After I finished putting it back together and reviewing my footage, I realised that I'd managed to do half of it out of the frame of the camera. So you just have to believe me that I put it back together, and at least I can say you always get what you pay for at PB's Retro Restorations, don't you? Anyway. Okay, so here we are back at the start with what I suspect was actually a really good original casting before somebody decided it needed to be gold, and they did that expert job of screwing it back together with a hardware screw. Not really ideal, but I guess at least it kept it together until we could get to it and mend it. So this is what we started with, and this is what we're left with now. Looking much improved, I think. Factory original colour? No. The speckles are, well, they're different. They're not really speckles, they're more a paint splatter, but the theme's the same, and it's still a pretty 70s colour. It's almost the colour of the Roller-Matic Beach Hopper Beach Buggy. So we'll call it a cross between the two. Don't forget to get involved with Jay at Jay's Diecast Creations Free the Ferraris build for June 21. And don't forget the second Dibs build, our VW Clown cars, on July 15th. Sure hope you can get involved. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. If you'd like to check some of my other videos, click on one of these links. If you'd like to subscribe, I'd really appreciate you thinking about it. Just click on my bald head, and I don't know how to describe the magic that'll come your way. It's indescribable. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next Friday, guys. If not before, bye.